So welcome to another Wichita Toy Train Club review. I'm Zachariah, and behind the camera we have Chris, and let's get into it. So today we have a Rio Grande GP-9 number 5911. This is produced by Lionel, cataloged in the 2015 Volume 2 catalog. The features on this locomotive have Lionel's Legacy Command System, so you can run it with Legacy, TMCC, or if you choose, you can run it conventionally with just transformer and some track. The engine has two powerful maintenance-free motors on top of each truck. All the trucks, pilots, and fuel tank are die-cast metal. The body from basically the platform up is plastic, has a operating smoke unit, and all the lights on the locomotive are LEDs. It also has two electrocouplers. Looking at the front of the locomotive, down here at the bottom we have our nice big electrocoupler, which can be fired from the Legacy or TMCC remote. On either side we have these separately applied MU hoses. Above that we have this separately applied coupler cut bar. Another handrail. We have a platform that can swing up or go back down. A metal chain in between the handrails. Some nice paint scheme up here at the front, along with Rio Grande. There's a couple steps here, along with our headlight and marker lights. So now looking at the top of the locomotive, up here we have a couple detailing around here, some rivets and lift rings, nice horn, molded in areas for the fans, along with some more lift rings and rivets, and back here a couple more lift rings. So now a little bit further back on the top of the locomotive, here we have our two exhaust stacks, and to add fluid to the smoke unit, there's one central smoke unit right here in the middle, so these two funnel down, so you only have to put fluid into one of the stacks. Along with the fans, there are free spinning blades in here, so they're not powered, but there are separately applied blades in there that if you blow on them, they will move. And then back here, we have some more lift rings, more fans, and under this panel here, we have the motor and the master volume control for the locomotive, along with a couple more details back here. So I went ahead and took that panel off real quick, and as you can see right here, we have two magnets, along with on the bottom here, reciprocating metal rings. That holds that down on there so it doesn't come off unless you want it to. But as you can see, here's the flywheel on one of the tops of the motors, along with the volume pods for the master volume control. You can use that for a conventional operation, or if you just want to permanently set a volume level in a command environment, you can use that as well. So now we're going to take a look at the front side of the locomotive. Over here we have steps on the front pilot, a big GP-9 symbol right here. Over here on the cab we have a nice big bold 5911. On the cab itself, as you can see in there, we have a engineer figure. Over here on the sides we have two windshields for the engineer. These move very delicately, so just be very careful when you're moving those, but they do move, and a little deflector here on top of that. Moving down, we have our nice die-cast metal truck, along with your standard separately applied details you'd see on any high-end diesel locomotive these days, along with another symbol right here and a couple other painted items on the fuel tank. Alright, so looking behind the cab of the locomotive, you can see back here we have a separately applied windshield wiper, along with a clear plastic insert there on that door. Below the door, we have two steps there with drainage holes in them, along with a white line on one of the steps. And along the whole walkway, we have safety tread on there. Looks really nice. We have this nice handrail that kind of comes up for the cab and goes back down along the whole side of the locomotive. And obviously, we have the big Rio Grande logo on there. Very nice. Kind of hard to see between the Rio Grande logo and the fact that the whole engine's white or black, but we have doors here that are molded into the body, along with some see-through vents that have been separately applied, and there's part of the body back there behind them, so you can't see into the engine, but granted the grates are still put on there separately. So now looking at the back of the locomotive, again it's kind of the same as the front, but little different. We don't have a cab, the first obvious difference. So down here on the pilot, again, we have our big O-scale coupler with the electric coupler you can fire from the Legacy or TMCC remote. Coupler cup bar, MU hoses, another handlebar, handrails, chain, and our other deck for multi-unit consists. You can flip that down and you're able to walk in between the two locomotives if you move the chain to the other engine. So that's why those are there. Again, we have our very nice and crisp gold on black, very, very crisp lines that Lionel has, along with the Rio Grande logo. Back here we have another little separately applied detail. Not 100% sure what that was for, but again, it's a little stanchion there. I think it's probably for emergency brake. But moving on, we have our marker lights on either side with 5911. Again, those are lighted. Didn't mention those on the front, but those are lighted with LEDs. The first thing that it's going to turn on when you add track power to the track is going to be those number boards. Again, we have our marker lights and a backup light, along with a couple steps on the side of it. All right, so now we have power to the track, and as you can see, those number boards are on. And one thing we didn't get a chance to see is on the bottom of the locomotive, there's 3 switches. And on the bottom there's your run program switch to either reset the factory settings on the locomotive or put in your TMCC ID, along with the smoke on-off switch and the Odyssey speed control on-off switch. So we're going to go ahead and start the engine up and listen to the startup sequence.
This is the dispatcher. Do you copy?
Roger that, dispatcher. I read you. Over.
Okay, start her up. Stand by for track orders.
Copy that. Let's get to work. Out.
So now we got the engine turned on. Now we can see all the lights have turned on. We have our headlight on up here, along with our number boards again. And one thing to note with the marker lights, again, we have the marker lights up here. They only turn on when we switch. So right now the rear marker lights are on red, and we switch directions. You can see our rear backup lights on, and now our front marker lights are on. So again, there's the forward position and reverse. Again, there's another marker light over here on the other side you can't quite see. So now we got the engine started up. Again, you can see that we have the cab light on, and that'll turn off when the engine starts moving. You'll see that over here in a little second. So we'll go through the sounds. First off, it's a horn. And again, that was all 3 quillings from the Legacy remote. Now we'll go to the bell. And some of that generic cruise talk that Lionel has in all their new engines.
Dispatcher, my engine's ready. Can I pull? Over.
Negative. Hold your position. Over.
I copy, dispatcher. Out.
This is the dispatcher. You're cleared outbound. Over.
Thank you, sir. Clear to pull. Out.
Now we'll have the front electric coupler that fires, and we'll go through the 8 RPM levels. So we're sitting here at idle, and we'll go ahead and move on up. Alright, we're back down here at idle, and we'll go ahead and move the engine on out. Alright, so we're ready to move this engine on out. Before we move it out, I'm going to put the engine into sequence mode. And what that is a bunch of pre-programmed items that the engine does just based off throttle response. So to enable the sequence mode, we're going to hold and press the aux 1 key, for about 3 seconds. Now we hear that ding ding toot, which means that sequence control is activated.
Dispatcher, train's buckled together. Can I get to the main line? Over. Dispatcher, I see that signal. We're good to go. Over.
Roger that. Out.
Dispatcher, train is moving. Over.
Roger that. Have a good run. Out.
Dispatchers are clear to the mile post. Over.
That's affirmative. You have a clear track. Over.
Copy that. Making good time. Out. Dispatcher, my fuel's just about empty. Running on fumes. Engine is at medium speed. Out.
Dispatcher here. Switch lines. You're clear inbound. Over.
Dispatcher, my fuel's just about empty. Running on fumes. I'm at slow speed. Out.
Dispatcher here. All clear inbound. Over.
Very good. All clear inbound. Out. Dispatcher, ready for the next run. Over.
Copy that. You're on your mark. Out.
Dispatcher, we're going to empty the ash can. See you tomorrow. Out.
All right, this concludes our review of this Rio Grande GP-9 number 5911 from Lionel. Remember to follow us on Facebook and subscribe to us on YouTube. Thanks for watching.